Hello and welcome back to the 7 Laws of the Learner by Bruce Wilkinson. Today we're going to talk about Chapter 7, which is the Law of Retention. Let me ask you a question. Do you want to teach a student with the most information in the shortest time with the least effort, at least for the student, but with the greatest retention? I'm sure all of us will say, yes, I want to. Tell me how. Well, how? In this chapter, it says that to get the key retention for the students, it has to be a combination of an effective and efficient method. Effective means we're using the right material. Efficient means we are using the right manner. So what does that really mean? Let's go further. In fact, in the Bible, in Deuteronomy 6, verse 4 to 9, already have the key principles on how to teach children. It says, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your strength. These commandments that I give you today are to be on your hearts. Impress them on your children. Talk about them when you sit at home and when you walk along the road, when you lie down and when you get up. Tie them as symbols on your hands and bind them on your foreheads. Write them on the doorframes of your houses and on your gates." So the words that I highlighted in red are the key principles. First, we need to love God with all our heart. When we really love God, the content that we're going to teach will flow accordingly. Just like when we play domino, this is the first card that will topple out the rest of the cards. Again, as we have learned, we cannot pass on what we don't have. So we need to love God with all your heart before we can teach the children. And in teaching the children, there are 4 key principles. Impress, or in other words, teach to the children. And then talk to them. Then tie them as symbols or bind it in your foreheads. And the last will be to write them on their door frames. What does this mean? Teach, talk, personal reminder, and public reminder is what this is about. It is the retention model that to be effective and to be efficient so that the children can remember what we teach, we need to focus on these 4 principles. Teaching is verbal. It is teacher-directed. It's what we say to them one way, the content. And then talking is to get feedback. Usually it's 2-way. We get the feedback from the children. And usually it's very hard to get feedback from the children. I've asked my kids, "How's your day?" Probably they say, "Fine. What do you learn?" "Yeah." But talking also means sometimes you can talk off subjects or during break time, that you find a way to reach to their heart. Maybe talk about subject that they like. I know if I ask my son what is the latest and most the best handphone, he can talk to me for hours. And that's when we start to build relationship and we can learn about how we can see and learn and understand the students better. Now we move to the nonverbal cue, personal reminder and public reminder. This is usually visuals, object lessons. I've learned before, one of the best object lesson as a personal reminder is the bracelet, the 5-color bracelet that we ever give in Sunday school. The black color of sin, the white color of forgiveness, the red color of blood, the white color of forgiveness, the green of growth, the gold of how Jesus comes again. That salvation bracelet is actually a personal reminder when we teach. Or simple, a wedding ring that someone wears, it shows that they are married. That is a personal reminder. Public reminder will be the posters that we probably put in the classroom setting, or even if in our home, if we want to remember some memory verses in our office space, we can put posters and things to remind us. So this is the key of retention model. We need to do this verbal and nonverbal so that we can teach the children better. And also some key principles that we need to learn so that the children can have better retention. It is focusing on the most important facts when we teach. Using the Pareto principle, which is the 80-20 rule, most of what we want to teach, the 80% of our content, actually usually comes from just the 20% of what we can teach. Instead of teaching so many things, we can focus on just the 20. This is also called the irreducible minimum. The concept means the smallest unit of information that we can share to the class that they can understand the subject. Many times when we look at the guidelines that we receive, there's so many Bible verses, there's so many concepts. Well, we need to learn to shift those unnecessary information and focus on what can we give. If there's one thing that we can teach, what will that be? Also, when we give a memory verse, we need to make sure the children understand before they can memorize. And we can balance the content and application too. Don't keep talking about what they need to do, the teacher content, but focus on how they can apply it. Give homeworks that the children can apply. And most importantly, review, because that's where the children can learn the irreducible minimum in their long-term memory. And of all of this, it is our responsibility as teacher to make sure that the children retain and understand what we teach. So to summarize, the essence of law of retention is the master of the minimum. Teachers should enable all students to enjoy maximum mastery, knows all about what we want to teach, using the irreducible minimum, just the key principle. What better way to learn than learning from our Godfather? To end this study today, I will just give you one visual. The rainbow. What comes to your mind? God uses rainbow to teach us the law of retention when he promised there will be no more flood on the world during Noah's time. So hope we can all learn and be teachers that focus on the law of retention. Thank you.